This is the Greg Bedard Patriots Podcast with Nick Cattles.
I want to first throw in another name that could be somewhat in the mix here. I don't want to overblow this. I don't want to go too bananas, Greg. But Greg Bedard wrote a name in his column today that got people very excited, and that name is Dante Scarnecchia.
Yeah, you're right. I don't want to oversell this, and I don't want people to go nuts. Because I could tell you, probably Scar would wring my neck and bitch me out like I was one of his linemen. Love that guy. Three different sources mentioned his name to me about being around more. One was stronger. Two sort of really downplayed it. As far as how much he's going to be available and how much he's going to be around. I would be surprised if, knowing Dante and how he is the total from, coming up through the armed services and his coaching career, he is all about the team. He's never about himself. He is not going to, be quoted and say I'm going to come in and do X, Y, and Z. I would be surprised if we ever see him, and we probably won't hear much about it. But, given he thinks the world of Vrabel, they went into Patriots Hall of Fame together. He and Josh McDaniels have been basically, they were running mates for a very long time. They're very close. They've stayed very close. And Dante Scarnecchia has known and has a great deal of respect for Doug Marrone for many, many years. And because they're running the old system, given Dante's right down the road as well, most people suspect that Dante is going to be around some whenever these guys might need something. And it might be as little as, hey, can you come in for a day or a half a day and teach us about this blocking system and sort of what Josh wants on these types of plays? Or can you take a look at this player? Or just, hey, here's a computer, watch some practice film and tell me what you think. I think he's going to be around. I don't think it's going to be a ton, but people around the building, it would not be a surprise if they see him at various times over the course of the next year, probably more so in the off season than in season, but we'll have to see.
Hey, man, some Scar better than no Scar for me. So anytime you can have somebody come in like Scarnecchia to help the program every once in a while, if it's, hotailing and Marrone are watching a certain lineman and they're getting ready for the draft and they say, well, we love this about him. We might not love this about him. Let's see what Scar thinks. Just to throw it off of Scarnecchia. There's no problem with that. That's not going to hurt anything. To get his eyes on some of these prospects, if he wants to be involved like that, I think it's great. And if he wants to help Marrone along with, hotailing and maybe some other guys on the staff, I think it's great. If he wants to help McDaniels with some of this, again, even if it's, once every week, once every couple, whatever his schedule is, if Scar's in the building, it's a good thing. And I think that's what we take from it.
Yeah. And one more thing, it's sort of, I think I mentioned this in the last pod, that the offense in this system. And so now we know for a fact that they're going back to the old system and how the game plan and things like that. The offensive coordinator and offensive line coach are in lockstep. They have to work together on everything. Basically, the offensive line coach and Huftalling, I'm sure, will be involved in this as well. But they're in charge every week, drawing up the blocking scheme for passes, for runs, all this stuff. Basically, McDaniels, like I saw with Bill O'Brien in Houston, he'll be like, all right, this is what we're thinking this week. This is the timing, go draw it up. So, could I see Marrone? I don't know if Marrone's ever done that before, but could I see, Scar going in the building to hang out with Marrone and be like, hey, tell me how Josh works and what the process is and sort of the way you did things. I could definitely see something like that.
Another little note that Greg had before we get to the offensive staff and the story, and I found this to be, somewhat enlightening. because I think a lot of people would think Scarnecchia, Belichick guy, Belichick Scarnecchia guy, and Scarnecchia, when he came back years ago, Bill might have kind of massaged that and got him back in the building. But Greg, reports that it was McDaniels, actually. That was a gigantic reason why Dante was open to coming back, because he respects the hell out of Josh McDaniels and enjoyed working with him. And so he was like, yeah, I guess I'll come back now that Josh is back. I could work with Josh again. So as Greg just mentioned, those guys have a very tight relationship. And, it's funny because a lot of people will, respect Scarnecchia and speak about him like he's one of the best. But some of those people, same people, will turn around and be like, McDaniels has no idea what he's doing. If Scarnecchia respects Josh that much that he came back because Josh was back, I think that should tell you about how smart Josh McDaniels is when it comes to football and when it comes to game planning, because Scar's been around for a very long time and he has seen some of the best. And so, again, you're talking about guys like Belichick and Scarnecchia and Vrabel and Sean McVay, very smart football people, younger, older, in the middle, all generations. And those four guys think highly of Josh McDaniels. So I think that's why, people should feel pretty good about him being your offensive coordinator.
Support us and sign up at PrizePicks. Go to PrizePicks.com/CLNS or download the app today and use code CLNS at PrizePicks.com/CLNS and get $50 instantly when you play $5.